Hello everybody, it's Andrew Hutchings here, still not a licensed physician, still never giving medical advice, it's purely educational and entertainment. This video is about Leo and Longevity's video titled the SERM versus AI debate or something like that. And he starts off talking about how IGF-1, which is decreased by SERMs, is carcinogenic. That's true. It could be good to lower your IGF-1 if you're trying to avoid cancer. And then he goes on to talk about how beneficial SERMs are for your cardiovascular health. Now, in studies, you can see sometimes a bit of a beneficial change in lipoproteins and HDL and LDL. But he goes on to talk about the studies that are about women with cancer given AIs versus SERMs, and he's saying that I used to think that it's because the AIs were inherently toxic, the molecules were toxic, but it turns out that the SERMs are actually just so good for your cardiovascular health that when you compare the two groups, it makes the AIs look toxic. And that had me going like, what? Because he clearly knows that estrogen is important for heart health, and then goes on to say that it's not that AIs, which block 99% of estrogen in a woman, because in men they don't get all the estrogen because it's in the testicles where they don't work too well. I think they don't get in there too well. I'm not sure exactly. But in men they only block like 80 to 90% of estrogen, but in women they block nearly 100%. And it's well known that estrogen is very important for the heart. Keeps HDL up, LDL down, a favorable profile all around the board. It's why women have less heart disease, because they have good estrogen levels. So yes, when you block 99% of a woman's estrogen, that is the reason why their heart condition goes down. It's not because the other treatment is just so good that it makes it look bad. No, getting rid of essentially all of your estrogen is going to tank your heart health. It's not because SERMs are so good for your heart. They may produce some slightly favorable results, but AIs produce incredibly disfavorable results. And there was something else. So part of the reason that SERMs do not show such detrimental results when given to women with cancer versus aromatase inhibitors is that SERMs actually, although people think of them as estrogen antagonists, the name is selective estrogen receptor modulator, but people pretty much only think of SERMs as antagonizing the estrogen receptors, blocking their activity. That's not true. If you look at studies, you can actually see that when they give postmenopausal women who do not have estrogen, when they give them SERMs, their bone health improves. But it doesn't improve quite to the level of a woman with normal estrogen levels. Now, why would it be that, there was some more stuff going on in the study, I don't remember it all anymore, years ago that I read it, but why would it be that when a woman doesn't have estrogen, that giving her a SERM improves her bone health? Very similar to how estrogen improves the bone health, but it's not to the same degree. Like, it was very significant, but probably it was something like 70% of the efficacy of actual estrogen. Well, the answer is because things like tamoxifen, clomiphene, raloxifene, while they do antagonize the receptors more so than natural estrogens, they're not pure antagonists. And we can see that by the fact that they stimulate bone health in the same manner as estrogen. They're actually, you could call them agonists with lower activity than natural estrogens. And by default, if you have less activity than naturally occurring estrogens, you're an antagonist, so to speak, compared to the natural estrogens. Now, they do actually have antagonistic activity, but it is different throughout the body. Different estrogen receptors are going to be more partially agonized by those molecules versus more antagonized. And it shows that the bones, at least, I don't know about the mammary glandular tissue or the breast tissue. That is the purpose of them. They're trying to get rid of breast cancer. So it's possible that they have more antagonistic activity in the breasts than in the bones. But in the bones, they have actually pretty good partial agonist activity. I don't think anybody would say that a SERM is an estrogen antagonist in the bones when it actually replaces estrogen. It can be used as an estrogen replacement therapy in women that are postmenopausal with no estrogen. I mean, very low estrogen. So I hope with this video you can understand that it's not that SERMs are so good for your heart health. They can be, especially if you're postmenopausal in a woman and you don't have any estrogen, then they can be like partial estrogen replacement therapy. But it's the AIs, which knock out 99% of the estrogen in women and like 80 to 90% in men. That's like a nuclear bomb to your heart health. So you have like baseline, SERM could be a bit healthy, but AIs, you're dropping off a cliff. Especially if you're a woman. Because like I said, men, it doesn't get rid of all the estrogen. It's still very bad. It's still going to make your HDL and LDL go HDL down, LDL up, and screw a lot of stuff up. But it's worse in a woman. So I hope you like this video. I've got like 450 other videos. You can check out my website, andrewhutchings.org, where you can hire me for consultations. Anything but medical advice, but it's only medical advice if I tell you you should do something. So you can hire me to get the information and to give you my opinion, but I just won't tell you that you should do that and recommend it as medical advice. My book is for sale. Systematic Guide to Defeating Tendinitis. If you like tendinitis, probably you won't like my book, but if you don't like tendinitis, my book might be your best friend, but a short-term friend, because if you get my book, you're not going to need it very long. You might need it 1 month, 3 months, probably not 6 months. I know you've probably been going to doctors for years, and physical therapists, and chiropractors, and who knows what else. But my book is not going to be a long-term companion, except on your shelf, in case you get it again years down the road, or a family member. Instagram is natural_true_fitness. Yes, I do need to lose weight. Not in the best of shape. Muscles are pretty good, but fat is too high.